We're going to be reading cards on the topic of spiritual awakenings. The high prize of being alive is to wake up spiritually and then to be able to live your life from a position of that spiritual identity. Here we go. We're going to do this first card related to spiritual awakenings, and it's going to be on the topic of when you start to get synchronicities, things just falling into place, reminders. Oh yeah, look at this. So the clinging to the past card. Now, if our head is up in this dark box and we are clinging to the past, meaning that we are concentrating on the way things used to be, on what we've already learned, on what other people say or what the status quo is. As we are living in that way, we kind of have our head in the box of what we already know, a box of what we already know. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. It's good to know things. I'm glad that we know that this is a coffee mug and that I'm drinking coffee, or else I would end up picking up the pen and I'd try to drink out of that. That would be not very helpful. So it's good to know things. It's good to have information that we have stored up in the past and to have our head in that box. But we want to make sure that when we are looking through the box, if we're talking about a spiritual awakening, we want to be looking at all these new things. We want to be seeing through the eyes of this colorful dimension to life. That is our renewed dimension, our here and now dimension. We're going to be looking through the rainbow of light. What is the rainbow of light? It is the idea that there is one power of white light that is coming down and that is animating our present, not our past, not what's behind us or in back of us, but what is happening right in front of our eyes. We're not going to cling to our old ideas. We're going to stay present and awake in the present time and look for those unique things that are hitting us that feel like we're moving forward and forward and forward. And so today we're just doing readings based on spiritual awakening and sharing information about that we're intuitively pulling down from the stars. The readings I do, I'm just basing them off of what Spirit is telling me, what God, Source, the universe is impressing on my third eye, my innermost self, my imagination space, that consciousness, that awareness, that spirit that is awake, my spirit awakened space. And everybody has it. You're using it all the time. Since we first became self-aware, self-conscious, since we first awakened when we were kids, when we first remembered, oh my God, I am a self and something else. Oh my gosh. Remember how that was? Very awkward when we kind of stepped into reality and woke up spiritually back then. And now it's just been a lot of information and emotion that has been happening around us. Oh, patience. Look at the patience in the birth cycle. So we've got this woman who's pregnant, right? She's pregnant with all of the variety of the light. See all the colors around her? There is one light that happens. You can see this in the phases of the moon, because we know that whether the moon is a sliver or a full or a crescent or a whatever, even a dark, we know that the light, that one light of the sun, is still hitting it. We know there's only one power, not two. We know there's only one power of light that is shining, and that it seems like there's more things happening, there's more powers, because we see this phases of colors. We see the reds, the blues, and the oranges, and we think, oh, there must be a lot of different powers happening. Or we see the black and white, and we say, oh, there must be another power besides light. There must be darkness that has some kind of power, and it might be evil and against me. Oh no, oh no. But when we're spiritually awake, we know there's just one light, the sun, shining in a different amount of frequencies of vibrations. That energy is just vibration of light. It is vibration of red, green, orange, blue, whatever. It is the different energetic signatures of things. Science shows us that everything is matter is made out of energy vibrating, electricity vibrating, atoms vibrating in general. Yes, I'm simplifying it, but it is basically that. Well, the one white light and that energy that's vibrating. Now, the only thing that's important here is that you are going to be the one giving birth to your circumstances, your situations, when you know that you are in charge as a spirit, as the one authority, the one voter, the one blueprint maker for the light to come into the world. The light needs you, needs us to interpret it, to build boxes for it, to build descriptions for it, so that it can come into the world and go into those areas that we define with our divine masculine words and images. What we're really doing is we are seeing the unlimited possibilities, and then we are choosing what we see. We are choosing it based on our descriptions, our words. And then the energy is embodying that experience for us. So we are the birth makers. We are the ones who are being creative, not so much attracting things, but recognizing things. Recognizing from a sea of unlimited colors, a sea of unlimited possibilities. We are the recognizers, the revelators, the ones who provide the blueprint, the words, the images, the box for that light to go into, and then it is reflected back as a flowing experience. You can see it down here. It comes back as a flowing, the blue is communication, and the indigo is inner communication. It comes back as an inner and an outer experience for us. So we are creating our reality, sort of. We are attracting our reality, kind of. We're really just recognizing something that we are focusing on, that we are voting for, that we are having faith in with our words and our beliefs. And then boom, it comes reflected back. We are the ones who give birth. Or it's being birthed through us. So that's that one card. When you're spiritually awake, you know that there's just that one power. You know that your words and your emotions are creative or selective in that area. So you learn to use your words and your emotions and invest them in a wise way. In a wise way. Only in thinking about and talking about the things you truly want to see manifested and magnified in your personal life. And it takes a little bit of time. That's what the patience card is. Patience. So you have patience and you wait for the birth. You describe it up in your consciousness space. See, her eyes are closed. She's describing it up here in her spiritual space, her innermost self, your awareness, your imagination, your consciousness. And then you let go and you let that pregnant baby come out on its own over time. There is a cycle of time, sometimes quicker, sometimes slower. It just depends. But you look for the birthing signs. You look for the labor pains. And there are some labor pains sometimes, aren't there? While we're waiting for the manifestation to come to pass. God is ever present. That spirit or consciousness or inner path, inner door, inner bridge to God, source or universe, is there. And we just need to go in and recognize that and work within on faith. Faith is the assurance of what we're hoping for. Faith is the very descriptions and the feeling of having it, and then letting that go and letting God grow it through us in the world. How do I unblock? So let's look at that. The first thing I would say about that is the first way to unblock is to know that you can't be blocked. To know there is no block. Claim there is no block. So if you're working as a spirit, you're going to say, it's not possible to be blocked because there's nothing against me. There's no enemy. I'm only blocked if I believe I'm blocked and look for evidence of being blocked. Let me work with the idea that I'm not blocked. Let me just decide to stop looking at those old ideas, past ideas, old ideas, the idea that we could be blocked. That's a duality idea. You can see it in the background, the white and black back here that we've come out of. We've come out of the world when we wake up spiritually. We've come out of the logic and reason and all the stuff that's happened in the past, all the way things are usually logically, all the things other people told us. Oh, that's not possible. Oh, you're crazy. Why are you going to those psychic reading things? They're nuts. All of that old garbage, all of that clinging to the past, the way things used to be done. We're coming out of that duality, that judgment of good versus evil, that two-power system, and we're coming up into the front here of the one power of a variety of the light. A variety of the white light gives birth to the variety of experiences that are all different colors. So the way to be unblocked is to know you're not blocked. It's not blockable. White light automatically is present all the time. When you work with that idea, then more of that understanding starts to filter through and less about being blocked ever comes up. In fact, you just start hearing people talk about it. All of a sudden, someone will be like, wow, I had constipation, and then it finally was released. It became unblocked. And you'll be like, oh my God, they're talking about there being no block. And then all of a sudden, I don't know, you'll be in traffic and it'll be a little cone over there, and you'll notice the cone is blocking some kind of driveway or some kind of pathway or roadway, and then you'll happen to be sitting there, and then you'll notice a construction worker comes out and moves the cone and unblocks it, and you'll say, oh my God, I was claiming that there's no block, and look, he's unblocking that road. It's happening. I really am unblocked. You'll start to see evidence of it. State the claim up here first. Then, notice it out in reality. Notice it in that intricate, present variety of colorful experiences that happen in the moment. There is no block. Set positive intentions. That's smart because we're going to get back what we intend. So intend well. If we intend ill or we intend fearfully, then we get back that experience. And that sucks. And people have to learn to do that for themselves because nobody has any power over you and nobody can basically take the credit for the good that you're doing in the world. So we want to learn how to do that. We want to teach our children, especially right now. I've got a son who is just becoming spiritually awake, becoming self-conscious, self-aware. And now he's going to have to learn how to deal with his emotions and his thoughts so he doesn't accidentally get afraid, get emotionally disturbed, and then tell himself a crummy story and then start to experience it. Ouch. That's tough being a tween, coming into adolescence, right? But that's how it is. Remember, when we're talking about being spiritually awake, we're looking at our words. We're looking at our language. Why? Because our words are like pieces of wood that build boxes to hold that experience afloat on the water. We're building boats with our words. Change that language. Change that language. Let's take a look at a card and see what happens there. The dream. Okay, the dream. So, here you are with your green heart chakra faded. Faded. Why is it faded? Because we are kind of getting weathered, kind of been casting out our thoughts and ideas on something we're looking for, on the dream. And we've been working internally in our third eye space. You can see this is her third eye space. And we're trying to imagine and feel what it is that we want to see come to pass in our life. Now, being spiritually awake, we want to realize that we don't have to dwell on that too much, and we don't have to worry too much about the manifestation. If we try to kind of force it, or if we're like really like, oh, this is so difficult, that could be a headache right there. It should be easy, effortless, and enjoyable, and just take a few minutes. You should just be able to pause and breathe, go up into your secret space, your dream space, the dream, and communicate with yourself about what it's like to have that experience come to pass. And when you're up there, you're going to really detail it, okay? This one is showing like a romantic relationship, for example. If you want a romantic relationship, then go up here and imagine yourself in one. See yourself at the restaurant. Oh, look, he just looked at me. I just smiled back. Hey, he's got those qualities that I really like. Wow, he thought about me. He opened the door. He pulled out my chair. Get into the details. Feel it. Feel the leather on the chair. Feel your arms on the table. Look at the wine glasses. What's there? All of a sudden, the dream will take on a little bit of its own sparkle. All of a sudden, some person at the table next door, just like a dream at night, will just say something like, you guys are a cute couple. And now feel it like it's real, like you're there up in here in the dream of reality. Starts up here in the spiritual dimension. Then let go and know that it will unfold. It will unfold. So there won't be any headaches to it. There won't be any blocks to it. It'll happen the way that it needs to in order to guide you towards that experience. Have faith. Have faith. All right. Let's see where we're at. Being spiritually awake is like controlling your thoughts and your words, or programming your thoughts and your words and sending them out there like little troopers into reality to then pull you towards those experiences that you're hoping for. Thoughts and vibrations. Let's look at something. Thoughts and vibrations. The breakthrough card. Look at this. So thoughts and vibrations. So look at all the vibrations we see in the card. Those reds and yellows are new foundation. The red is the root chakra. So that's new foundation bubbling up in the darkness, bubbling up in that space that doesn't have any energy or vibration going into it yet. Now, what could be a place where the energy hasn't made it to, where the vibrations haven't went to? That wouldn't be the old things up here in duality. That wouldn't be our past. The vibrations, the energy, they're not going into the past. And that's what the clouds and the black here represent. These are past vibrations, past waves of what we already knew and manifested. But all that's old and gone. We're down here in this new space, in the spiritual awake space. So we are bowing our heads down, see? Bowing our heads down, closing our eyes, getting into that secret space. We use the ropes to get down there, the ropes that have led us towards our present circumstances, made us who we are today. Those ropes have helped us climb down into this new box. And the new box needs some definition. We're going to think in our consciousness. That's why they're bent over. They're like, all right, let me see what I want to do with this box to let the energy come in. Let me see how I want to use my words and my thoughts to like crackle open this new dimension that I want to live into. That's what it is. The suppression card itself is saying that we're not really suppressing anything other than the past. We are kind of suppressing or letting go of, suppression, letting go of, pushing the past off by grabbing onto the present and letting those vibrations come through. So it's going to be all about focusing those thoughts in a way that will create or build the box of what you want. So feeling those vibrations is a good sign. You can get in tune with those. They're very uplifting, high vibrations. You're feeling them. You're sensitive to them. That's good. Now you can use that feeling to generate faith, generate surety, confidence all day long. And before you know it, you'll just be speaking the word and it'll happen. You'll be speaking the word and you'll get it reflected back. Super good. You're right where you're supposed to be, and you're right in a good space. You've traveled through this whole city. Imagine the rest of the card would be other stores and other parts of the city, and you've traveled all the way over here on your wise mind. It has led you right to the door of all of the new stuff in the present that has to do with being spiritually awake. It's also saying, the yellow is also saying, get involved in the joyful parts of spiritual awakening. Get involved in this joyful light, joy light parts of mysticism. Don't go into the dark parts. Don't go into this like good versus evil or curses and all that garbage. Now, it's not really garbage, but garbage is garbage. Garbage is something too. But we throw trash out for a reason, right? We throw garbage out for a reason because we've pulled out the essence of it, the absolute good of it, the light that was in it, that was animating it. And then we throw that trash away. So things like curses, all that, that's all trash. Why do I say it's trash? Because you don't want to pick that up and try to eat it. It's garbage. Don't put it in your space of your consciousness. Don't eat it with your spiritual insight, your spiritual understanding, your spiritual eye. How is third eye related to spiritual awakening? Hey, Spirit, how is third eye related to spiritual awakening? Well, before I even pull the card, it's going to be this card. I can't see this card, but we know the third eye is right here. We know that it's indigo. Ooh, look at all the blue. We know that the third eye is that inner space, that inside space, the you of you. So it's not our physical body, and it's not our past circumstances. It's not our thoughts, not our words, and it's not our emotional feeling. It's something else. It's the awareness or the consciousness. It is that space, a connection to the nowhere land, a strange organism, an alien-like being that is living inside of us. We are kind of a host. Our physical body is a host for this spiritual body. It is extraterrestrial, meaning my kingdom is not of this world. My spiritual being, my third eye, is not of the world. It is an alien. Don't think alien means scary, negative, and strange. Alien can simply mean extraterrestrial, beyond the world of the physical earth. And we know that this is true. You don't even have to think much about it. You know there's something in you, some kind of strange presence. It's up inside here, and you see and feel from that spot whatever you want to imagine. And that's what we're talking about. So the third eye relates to our spiritual awakening in that we want to make sure we energize it with our chakras. Bring all that energy up. Bring all that focus up. Bring your full heart. Bring your throat chakra, communication. Talk about the spiritual awakening. Talk about your awareness. Talk about being in that other dimension. Talk about it as an alien. Talk about it as an alien that isn't stereotypical alien. It's just extraterrestrial. Talk about it like, say, like Jesus said, my kingdom is not of this world, it's somewhere else. Or Jesus said, like, you know where I'm going to go? You can't go. I'm going where you can't go. Guess what? When you go into your little third eye secret space up here, nobody else can go there. You're the only one there. But we can all go to our own secret space. So It's very important. The third eye is the awareness, the consciousness, the alien, the presence of God, the Son of God, the Christ of God, the Atman that Buddhism would say. It is the present conscious awareness. And in a very real, easy, user-friendly term, it's simply awareness, consciousness. We are self-aware. We are self-aware. We are aware of our personal self in the world. Anyhow. Whoa! Oh, it's called Cosmic Connection. Huh, what a great card. Oh, look at, here comes the light halo coming on in. Boom, 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 boom. Cosmic Connection. So the third eye is the doorway to the spiritual realm, and it's also the doorway to the physical realm. It is that point that goes to both. It is the portal that we are. We are the portal. Your identity is the portal from God to man. Oh yeah, love being in that neutral zone that gets to see and know everything in the moment, but that doesn't get affected by any of it because it lives in another dimension. So goody good good. You're welcome to go to my business page. Look up my business page. The name on my business page is Brian Spirit Speak. Brian Spirit Speak. Go to that. That's my business page identity. If anybody wants a reading from me, private message me. Let's do some one-on-one sessions and stuff like that. It really doesn't cost much. I want to get into it deeper with people that really give a crap about waking up spiritually and want to work through their own personal stuff. It's an investment in yourself. Look at my YouTube channel if you want something for free. That's easy. That stuff is still valuable. Just because it's free doesn't mean it's not super valuable or appropriate in the moment. You can go to my YouTube channel any day of the week and dig through those videos with your intention. You're going to get messages. And the same video will deliver a different message at a different time for you because you're in a different intention space and you need different information. And it'll just appear because you'll be ready to hear it. You can lead a horse to water, but you cannot make it drink. And that is the important thing, is that all we can do is bring the message, but it's going to be up to them to receive it, And then we're going to have a clean heart when we know we've done what we sense is the right thing in the moment. How can I tap my psychic self? There's more than one self. There is a self and a psychic self. All right. Well, let's look at what is not the psychic self. What's not the psychic self is our personal, physical self and our mental self that has thoughts, the actual data of our life. Me, I was like born in Connecticut. I'm X number of years old, etc. I live at this address, whatever that is. So those are personal details. So our personal self is one thing. And then there's our psychic self. So in order to make use of something, we have to recognize it. So the first step in tapping into one's psychic self is to define it as a real thing. So we want to be able to do that by just knowing that our consciousness or our awareness is our psychic self. Our consciousness, our awareness, our imagination space, our spirit, that is our psychic self. Okay? Now, the question goes a little deeper. Now that I know that I am this spiritual awareness, this blank canvas, this blank book that things can be written upon, how can I tap my psychic self? Meaning, how can I read the information that's being written on my psyche, on my spirit? And the way to do that is simply by getting calm emotionally, knowing you are spiritually awake, and deciding that it'll just be apparent. It'll be apparent, it'll be written, and you'll just know. You'll just know. You make the decision that the information is there, and you just speak it, practice saying it, practice writing it, tap it. Let all the stuff that's on it come out. All the stuff that's in it, let it flow. You talk through it. You say, what is that on my psychic space? What's going on in my psychic space? I want to tap my psychic space. Here he is, going up out of the world of reality, out of the physical world down here. He's climbing up his phantom ladder, his imaginary ladder, up to his psychic space. Up to this psychic space. We know it's that because the card is indigo, that's the third eye, and it's shaped like the third eye. And we know that he's going to get information automatically from God's source universe up here. So you just go and tap it. You go and tap it by knowing and saying, just like I'm knowing and saying the things that are coming out of my mouth right now. You let it flow. A tap is a flow. It's a flow of the know, and you let it all go. Don't hold back. Don't worry. Now, what could stop it? What could stop it, if anything? What could make it bumpy and hard to tap? Disbelief in it. Well, I don't believe there's anything. Well, then you're not even going to climb up the ladder. How about if you define it as something that's not real? Well, then you're not going to go up the ladder either. You're not even going to see that part of the card. All you're going to see is that part of the card. So we need to define it and recognize it as a real thing, and then we need to just allow it to impress information, and we need to speak it out. That's what the other blue is on the card. It's the throat chakra. So there's a connection between the light, see the white light, the third eye, and the throat chakra. Wow, 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 wow. Let it flow out like a tap of information. Just speak it. Speak it. And practice. Have patience. I'm patience. I'm patience. I'm patience. I'm patience. Meaning that we're going to relax. We're going to be patient with ourselves. We're going to be easy and effortless with ourselves. We're going to be patient. And it'll just start to flow. Yeah. You can just allow the movements to go. It's another way to tap it. Just let yourself do whatever it's doing. Being. Do and be. That's tapping. Tapping the psychic self. It's always moving. It's always got something going on, even when it's silent and still. It is an expanded space of wowness, right? Tapping the psychic self. Find me if you want to do a paid one-on-one reading. It really doesn't cost much at all, and we can do those targeted topics that you are looking to do if that's the case. Otherwise, go to my YouTube channel. It's just as good there. Wonderful stuff. Take care.